I never realized how oppressive silence could be until the city that never sleeps finally shut its eyes. New York was a body without a heartbeat. Streets that once pulsed with impatient horns, the rattle of subway grates, the chatter of tourists had collapsed into something unnatural. The air outside my window felt heavier, as though dust and fear mixed with the usual spring humidity. My apartment was no bigger than a shoebox, an open space where the bed doubled as a couch, and the kitchen was little more than a strip of counter. The walls were the yellow-gray of cigarette smoke, even though no one had smoked here in decades. Usually the constant sound of my upstairs neighbor walking, or the pipes clanking, or muffled music from someone's Bluetooth speaker distracted me from the claustrophobia. But not anymore. Now the quiet pressed against my eardrums until I swore I could hear my own blood rushing. I tried to stick to a routine. I'd wake up at 9, make bad coffee and my chipped French press, and sit at my desk pretending to work. Video calls with colleagues were the only proof that other people still existed, though even through the screen they looked drained, pale, like wax figures lit by laptop glow. At night, I let Netflix run endlessly, voices filling the space so I wouldn't feel so alone. But every night, after midnight, when the city went even stiller, I felt the weight of the building itself. It creaked like old bones, groaned like it resented me still being inside it. That's when I heard it. It was just past 2 a.m., the hour when sleep usually dragged me under. The credits of some sitcom rolled, laugh track echoing faintly, when a noise cut through it. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Slow, like fingernails testing the wood of my door. At first, I froze. My body went rigid, eyes fixed on the door across the room. I told myself it was the pipes. It was always the pipes. The building was nearly 100 years old, full of whispers and sighs, but then came another sound, a meow. It wasn't the cheerful cry of a house cat. It was low, guttural, stretched too long, like someone imitating a cat but forgetting how real animals sound. The sound crawled beneath my skin, raising the fine hairs on my arms. I don't own a cat. Nobody on my floor does. The sitcom laugh track ended, leaving the room in awful silence. My heart hammered as I padded barefoot across the floor, each step making the wood groan. I pressed my ear against the door. Nothing. No movement. The hallway beyond was always dim, lit by one buzzing bulb, and I imagined it flickering in the darkness, even though I hadn't yet looked through the peephole. I leaned forward, held my breath, and peered through. Empty. Just the endless hallway stretching both ways into nothing. I told myself to stop being ridiculous. Maybe someone's TV was loud. Maybe the sound carried through the vents. I went back to the kitchen, poured myself water, and tried to breathe normally. My reflection in the window looked pale, eyes wide, shoulders hunched like prey. At 2:40 a.m. the sound returned. This time not scratching. A knock. Not tentative, not polite. A flat, hard thud right in the center of the door, like a command. The glass trembled in my hand. My pulse spiked so fast I thought I'd faint. Slowly, automatically, I opened the nightstand drawer. My gun lay inside, cold and heavy when I wrapped my fingers around it. Dad's voice whispered in memory, "If you ever point it, be ready to use it. I stepped back to the door, the pistol shaking in my grip, pressed my eye to the peephole, and saw him. A man crouched on all fours, directly in front of my door. His body was twisted, shoulders at an angle that seemed painful. His head jerked as if straining against invisible strings. He dragged his tongue across the palm of his hand, slow, deliberate, never breaking eye contact with the tiny circle of glass. His lips peeled back into a smile too wide, showing teeth that looked damp and animal. My throat went dry. Somehow I managed to rasp, "I'm armed. Get the hell out of here." He didn't flinch, didn't blink. Then, without looking away, he pressed something to the peephole. A knife. The metal gleamed dull yellow under the hallway light. My breath stuttered out in short bursts. My muscles screamed to fire, to do something, but terror nailed me to the spot. Finally, with a surge of desperation, I twisted the deadbolt and yanked the door open, gun raised. He rose slowly, like a puppet pulled upright by unseen strings, taller than me. Hollow cheeks, eyes wide and dark, pupils swallowing the whites. His grin didn't falter. He lifted the knife lazily, as though amused. Then he meowed, a dry, broken sound that rattled in his chest. I wanted to shoot. I swear I wanted to, but my finger froze. He didn't lunge. He just turned with awful calm, walking down the hall. His bare feet slapped softly against the carpet. No rush, no fear. He moved like someone who knew I wouldn't follow. For a long moment I just stood there, breathing like I'd run miles. Finally, I forced myself into the hallway, gun up, eyes darting left and right. Nothing. Empty. When I turned back, my stomach dropped. The door had closed behind me, and it was locked. That was impossible. My lock wasn't automatic. I hadn't touched it. My apartment, my only refuge, was sealed, and I was stranded in the corridor with nothing but the buzzing fluorescent above and the gun slick with sweat in my grip. The air smelled faintly of mildew and old carpet cleaner, mixed with something sourer. My breath echoed in the narrow hall. For the first time I noticed how long it really was, stretching into shadows that seemed darker than they should be. Then came the sound, footsteps, not just one set, several, from both ends of the hall, closing in, each step deliberate, slow, in sync. My chest seized. I aimed the pistol toward the far corner. "Who's there?" My voice cracked, swallowed instantly by the hallway. No answer. The fluorescent above me flickered, buzzing louder like a trapped insect. Once, twice, then it died, plunging everything into thick black. In the dark, the footsteps multiplied, surrounding me, above me, below me. The building itself seemed to crawl with unseen bodies. And layered under it all came a sound so soft, I almost thought it was in my head. Low, rhythmic, vibrating against my bones.